welcome. I am so excited about this presentation. We want to welcome all the students who are here to join. You are our pre-members. Some of you may be members, but this is something I actually, when I knew that we were going to be doing this, I was excited because I wish that when I was in college, we had these kind of webinars regarding the unions. I knew I wanted to be an actor and I didn't know anything about the unions other than I needed to join one if I wanted to work as a professional. So this is a really great webinar. It's something that will help to inform you as you move forward in creating and expressing your, developing your careers. It's a presentation just to give you a general understanding of our organization, the knowledge of the key benefits that our members are entitled to, because when you're a member, there are so many things that are available to you to help enrich your career and your craft, so that when you do go and enter into this unknown universe, which is changing exponentially, you will be prepared and you will be supported to be the best you can be. So I know you're anxious to get started, probably have tons of questions. So I just want us to jump right in. I'd like to introduce my actually very dear friend and colleague, somebody who makes an incredible difference within our union. She is Rebecca Damon. She is our Executive Vice President and second top leader of this union. She really has helped to shape our union in a way that's really profound for our members. So please welcome, without further ado, Rebecca Damon. Hi, Rebecca. Thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Gabrielle, and thank you for your leadership and for all that you do for not just our members, but for our members to be. And today is really just a discussion for people that are our pre-members. And I know you share this philosophy with me and the other leaders of the organization that to be a member of SAG-AFTRA, it's a real milestone, but it's actually a journey that you begin before you're ever actually a member. You're actually part of our family now. And you're part of our family now because we know that as part of a professional career, this is going to be a big milestone for you. So we're excited that you're here with us today. We think it's just, it's an incredible journey to be on, to be thinking about being a SAG-AFTRA member. And we can't wait to officially welcome you one day at your new member orientation. But for now, we just kind of want to get started and talk a little bit about who we are and what we do in terms of our union, what SAG-AFTRA is and what that means for us. So I'm going to start by just letting you guys know a little bit about SAG-AFTRA and what it is and what it does. SAG-AFTRA is obviously a labor union, and we represent people in the entertainment and the media industry, things like movies, TV, new media, radio, commercials, corporate educational, interactive, like a video game, other areas. We have, sound recording artists, like if you think about Lady Gaga, all of that. But, at the end of the day, all of our different areas, whether it's broadcast, entertainment, our mission is actually very simple. We are here to protect and empower entertainment and media professionals across the globe. We are known as being a tough negotiator, a strict contract enforcer, and really a well-run institution. And we are a proud member of the AFL-CIO, which is nationally all the labor unions from around the country, the wonderful AFL-CIO, which Gabrielle is a vice president of. We also partner with other labor unions in our industry, things like the Directors Guild of America, like the DGA, the IATSE, the Teamsters, the Writers Guild of America East and West, all of these folks. And internationally also, we're very involved in making sure that we are strengthening and protecting media audience, not just in the United States, but all around the world. So it's really good that you're here with us today, wherever you're watching from. We are engaged as we speak with governments, whether it's federal, state, local, and making sure that our policy impacts internationally in the way that we want it to. So we want to protect entertainment media artists, both at home and abroad. Now, a little bit about SAG-AFTRA. So it's all those letters. It's the alphabet soup of letters. So let's just talk about where that comes from. We come from SAG-AFTRA, Screen Actors Guild, which was founded in 1933, And the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists was AFRA. There was no T because it was founded before television in 1938. Add the T later, come up to 2012, SAG-AFTRA merged. We became one union and SAG-AFTRA was born, which made us so much more powerful in the industry. SAG-AFTRA is a union that has 160,000 members with earnings that are around $5 billion. Now that is $1 billion with the B each year on our contracts. That's a lot of work and a lot of years of negotiating strong contracts across all industries for our members. So when you think about SAG-AFTRA, what is SAG-AFTRA? You've told me we're a labor union. You've told me a little bit about what you do, but really, what is it? What SAG-AFTRA is, in a simple sentence, is we are the faces and voices that entertain and inform both America and the world. So that's actors, broadcasters, singers, dancers, stunt performers, recording artists, performers of all types. Anybody that works in front of a camera or behind a microphone, you should be SAG-AFTRA. SAG-AFTRA is also the mark of distinction. It really is a huge transition in your life. We're a national union. We have our headquarters in Los Angeles, and we have a second national office in New York. And I'm from New York, so second national office here. But we really are a nationwide union, and that is where our real strength comes from. We have locals all across the country, everywhere from New England to San Diego, Hawaii, Miami, everywhere in between. And that is part of how we not only have our strength, but that is where we get a lot of our greatest leaders are from all around this country. So what we do, what's the main focus of this SAG-AFTRA that you're talking about, Rebecca? Well, what we do is we are here to protect and empower. So we do things like our core functions, which you'll see on screen. We have collective bargaining. So that's when we negotiate contracts for wages and working conditions for our members. So that is how we set a floor. Obviously, you can always negotiate your own leverage beyond for other things you want, but we set a floor, and that's incredibly important. We also administer and enforce contracts for things like anything that might happen. Let's say there's something on set and you're due more money, you can file a claim. And that is an incredibly important thing for SAG-AFTRA members. We organize new work. That's critically important. We're always trying to bring more work for our members. We also process residuals, which is more money in members' pockets. And that is critically important. Because at the end of the day, we all want to be able to make a living in our chosen fields. So SAG-AFTRA also does options for healthcare, pension for when you retire. We authorize use of members' work, and we have a very active government affairs and public policy, both committee and department, that help influence policy that matters to our members, whether that's on the state, the city, the federal level, and like I mentioned earlier, all around the world. So just to give you a little bit of sense, I mentioned the word residuals, and residuals is one of our very favorite words at SAG-AFTRA. And what is that? So you're probably saying to yourself, I've heard of residuals. So what it is, you are compensated to work originally on the show, but this is compensation paid for either a movie, a TV show, a commercial beyond the period of that initial compensation, beyond that initial use. And we have a really great program that we started a little while back where residuals can be available through direct deposit. And in a time when we're in the middle of a pandemic, having that direct deposit has been very meaningful, we know from our members. So when you become a member, make sure you sign up for that direct deposit. Very important. We have contracts in every single area of entertainment and media industry. So things like TV, theatrical, commercials, corporate educational videos, interactive things like video games, news and broadcast stations, sound recordings, so all of those wonderful recording artists. We have audiobooks, music videos, the list just could go on and on. I could be here all day, but I know you don't have all day. So I just want you to understand that those are some of the things we do. We're currently in the middle of our TV theatrical contract ratification. And this is a very important time for us because we're in the process of, this is our most lucrative deal that has ever happened in the TV theatrical history of SAG-AFTRA. So it's really important. And Gabrielle, who was the chair of our negotiating committee, all those member volunteers, along with our professional negotiators, I mean, they just did an amazing, amazing job. This contract was valued at over $318 million over a 3-year term of the contract. So just think about that. That is an extra $318 million in members' pockets. And in the middle of a pandemic, that is incredibly, incredibly exciting, especially in a universe where we see so many people around us who aren't able to have those kinds of achievements, and we feel so bad for them. We're also very proud of our members and our negotiators for such a great job. It's a 26% increase in the fixed streaming residuals. There are very important new provisions and increase in terms of those for both nudity and simulated sex. We also in the Western Zone have secured in year 2 of the contract an extra background performer in episodic TV shows in the West Coast Zone. So that's really, really important. We also, just to get you a little bit more about who we are and what we do. So, you know, I'm not gonna surprise any of you by saying, you know, we work across all networks and platforms. So we have, you're gonna see a wonderful array of screen. I think you're seeing all of them right now, of all of the kind of employers who SAG-AFTRA works with. And you'll see the vertical integration. Once upon a time, in a land far away, long ago, they weren't so these transnational corporations. And because they are a transnational corporation, it is so important that all the members who work in entertainment and media be together. It gives us our strength. So we are constantly working in platforms that are changing every day, all of these different distribution models in terms of how content is produced, what work our members do. All of this is really, really critical. We also work in the low budget space. So we have low budget agreements that cover things. And I think it's really important because it's not just about you becoming a SAG-AFTRA member and taking that critical step on your journey. It really also is about, in these low budget agreements, we are teaching and working with the next generation of filmmakers so that they understand how to make an affordable but also professional production. And that is so critical. So we're all growing up together. So we do everything in low budget, from student films, which there are probably around, you know, between low budget and student films, around 4,000 of those kinds of agreements every year. It's a great way to get engaged and get experience. And at the end of the day, some of this work can be some of the most exciting and interesting work. And I think what's interesting about that is it doesn't mean you have to be a big studio just so you can use professional talent. And that is also just critical. So I'll just give you guys a little bit of an idea. Low budget independent filmmakers often are the ones that are producing the interesting, edgy, unique, that kind of content that you might not see at the traditional studios. So if you think of Ava DuVernay and her rise, so I'm a huge fan, so I'll just do fangirl for a second. Huge fan. So she started out and did her first film under a low budget agreement, and she did it for only $200,000. And then the next film that she did was greenlit for a $20 million studio project, and that was Selma. So if you think about it, that journey from that $200,000 budget to $20 million, it was also because she had great SAG-AFTRA members and amazing stories to tell. And we see the amazing stuff she does today. She's just awesome. So if you look at all of her storytelling, you see this great progression, and it's really exciting. And we hope that you as members will have your own Ava DuVernay story to look at. So SAG-AFTRA is also really focused on new technology and new platforms. And we have really expanded how we are taking a role in this. Our staff team, along with our Innovation and New Technology Committee, have been looking at emerging markets and making sure that we are always as far ahead, whether that's influencers, gamers, and all of those kinds of markets. We were at CES, which for those of you that don't know, it used to be called the Consumer Electronics Show, CES. We've actually had a presence there for years, but we've upped that. It is part of our commitment to making sure that we are on the cutting edge of understanding how AI, other things in terms of making sure that our digital image rights are protecting, making sure that we really have the ability to not just be paying attention to these technologies, but making sure that we are the proper advocates for our members as we enter a whole new world of work. So I'm going to shift gears for just a second and talk about safety. And I want to say this, and I think it's probably first and foremost on our minds, you know, today in the world that we're living in. But safety has always been and always will be one of the most important aspects of what we do at SAG-AFTRA. And I'm just giving you guys a little bit of background. We have had for some time, but I like to make sure people know about it, a safety hotline. And this is administered by our professional staff. And just so people know, just in general, our professional staff monitors the safety provisions, the writers. They work with both the members, their agents, managers, their attorneys, labor relations, whoever they need to do whatever they can to make sure that members are safe at work. So sometimes though, it's going to be late at night or something's going to come up, and that's the time when you're going to need that safety hotline. And that number is 844-SAFER-SET. And what's really terrific about this hotline is we have expanded it over the years to make sure that we can also take calls if somebody is being discriminated, harassed, denied accessibility based on their diversity status or for otherwise. So it's really super important that people have that number. I'm also honored to be a part of the President's Blue Ribbon Commission on Safety, which President Carteris chairs. And this is really a new critical innovation. This innovation and this expanded focus, because like I said, it has always been a key priority of SAG-AFTRA is member safety. But we are working across all parts of the entertainment and media industry and taking a leadership role to make sure that we're able to advance these things. So just I'll give you an example. During the pandemic, we have been working both with the industry along with the all the other labor unions in the industry on a historic set of protocols for a safer return to work. Those things include vigorous testing protocols, hygiene, a zone system. We've done work in the space of sexual harassment. Our work group in our Blue Ribbon Commission on Safety, our anti-harassment work group, has been dedicated on a daily basis to not just combating sexual harassment, but thinking through the important ways to create a safer set for our members. So we have been working with a fantastic group of intimacy coordinators to help bring more protections to members, working with members on this. And I will just say, SAG-AFTRA always wants to be part of the forefront in the fight for justice, in the fight for combating discrimination of any kind, combating racial discrimination, making sure that when we speak about diversity, we are speaking about true diversity and inclusion. This is a passion of SAG-AFTRA's, and I think you might tell it's a personal passion of mine. So this is part of who we are and what we do. So we engage our members to protect, empower in multiple different ways. We have organizing initiatives that take place across all of our contracts. And we were able to organize our first ever agreement, Telemundo, to cover Spanish language television. And that has been, I mean, that has just been 100% so impressive. And I had the opportunity to spend some time with the members who had organized. This was our first network in 50 years that we were able to organize in this way. And I had some time with our folks as they were negotiating their first contract, those members along with our staff. And what an impressive group of people. You know, some of them had faced harassment, threats of being deported out of the country, terrible, terrible things. And the strength that they showed in their unity, their ability to know that if they stood together, things could get better. And I'm so proud that they're SAG-AFTRA members. So we're really excited about those kinds of initiatives where we are capturing more work, growing more work. Another area that is of critical importance is union commercials. And in terms of that, we have been working to expand both to continue to organize, but also to recapture union commercials. And, you know, obviously people think about the fair wages and working conditions and being able to get a, you know, better agent and working union and the solidarity. But at the end of the day, it's also really important. And we want to make sure, especially since so many of you are younger pre-members, that thinking about when you work a non-union commercial and what that can mean, you can actually create an uncontrollable product conflict. So let's say you do a non-union beer commercial, which could run in perpetuity. And I'll tell you right now, those are words to look for. Those are dangerous words for a performer. And you could have that running in perpetuity without additional payment. So your face or your voice could be endlessly associated with that product, and you may never be able to do a union commercial for any beverage in that area. And I mean, that means ever. So you want to make sure that you are working union in commercials, and we have a wonderful team. And if you see things and you have questions about that, we have a great AdsGo Union campaign. AdsGo Union at SAG-AFTRA.org is their email. You can email them for more information. So we want you to be with us, and we want you to protect your future, even if you're not a member yet. So we also do a lot of engagement with our President's Task Force, which you're here today, but we also do a lot of engagement with our next gen performers, our 18 to 35-ish, whatever age you are. And this group of young professionals have really taken charge of their careers and are finding ways within this union's leadership to advance their careers, but also advance their union. They do a lot in social media, networking, they meetups, tweetups, all kinds of community outreach. And it's really amazing the kind of things they're able to do. So at any rate, just amazing group, the next gen performers. I want to talk a little bit also about equity inclusion. I mentioned earlier this being a personal passion for me. It is a core value of SAG-AFTRA that our strength is in our diversity. That's actually right out of our founding documents. We are committed to the broadest employment and involvement of our members, regardless of race, national origin, ancestry, color, creed, religion, sex, marital status, sexual orientation, political affiliation, veteran status, gender identity, expression, age, or disability. And we have an equity inclusion department, and they exist to make sure and help us make sure that we are achieving increased inclusion, equal access to opportunities, and protection when work is in our jurisdiction. This gives me a second to tell you guys, we have some videos that we would normally play if we weren't in the middle of a pandemic and we could all be in the room together. But just because sometimes those don't come across, depending on your bandwidth issues and otherwise on Zoom, online. So on our resource page, all those videos will be there. So I hope you'll take a look after the fact. So I just want to make sure that people are totally aware of that, and that you can definitely check it out. So that URL, just so you can catch up with some of those cool videos, is sagaftra.org /yjoin. So just want to make sure that you guys know about that, and it's a lot of really other good resources. So I'm going to now shift gears into industry relations. So engagement is not just with members, but it is really important to be engaged with the agency so we can expand more opportunities for members in this way. We have our online production center, and that is a way for people to be able to go and see a whole digital workflow. It has FAQs in the production center. You can download forms, contracts, rate sheets, FAQs. So if you are somebody that's looking to hire SAG-AFTRA members, it's a great resource, and it helps to be able to have everything in a one-stop shop. That step-by-step online guide to becoming a producer, very helpful and always expanding and improving. So now we're going to pause for a minute and talk about membership. So you're thinking, all right, I've been hanging out here with Rebecca in the middle of the pandemic. We're talking, when is she going to talk about membership? Well, we're going to talk about it right now. Obviously, this is, as Gabrielle mentioned at the top, such a major milestone in a performer's career. And you're wondering, how do I do that? How do I become eligible? How does that work? So there are 4 ways for that to happen. Those 4 ways are: you could do 1 day of work as a principal performer under a SAG-AFTRA agreement. So you audition and book a job, and you're able to join. That is through most of our agreements, though some of our lower budget agreements, it's not quite the same qualification, and you can check that out on the website. Or you could do 3 days of background work under a SAG-AFTRA agreement. Or door number 3, you could be a member in good standing of an affiliated performers union, such as Equity, or AEA for short, American Guild of Musical Artists, or AGMA for short, American Guild of Variety Artists, or AGVA, ACTRA, which is the Alliance of Canadian Cinema, Television, and Radio Artists, all these alphabet soups. I mean, who is going to take the time to learn all these things? Well, probably you, because you're going to be a professional performer. So you might already be a member of one of these unions. And if you were a member in good standing of one of those unions as your parent union, which is the union that people refer to as the union that they first joined, if you're a member of one of those and have been in good standing for a year, you can look on the website and get some additional details about how to join through our sister union program. We also obviously represent broadcasters, and if you are a potential broadcaster on the way up, you can contact our national broadcast department or your local office and get a few details about how that works. So it's another way that you might be joining the union. So to become a member, you had to first have that member eligibility. Now you have to figure out, you're gonna have to pay what is a joining fee as well as semi-annual dues. And I think it's really important for people to understand this, because the joining fees can also vary depending on where you join, and you should contact the local office, which you saw that list, and those are all available online. For those details. But so the standard national joining fee is $3,000 plus the first semi-annual basic dues. So the $3,000 plus 111, so $3,111.48. So your base dues are $222.96 per year. I did that from memory. Hopefully it's on screen for you. Plus 1.575 of your SAG-AFTRA earnings up to $500,000. And so that is how your dues are calculated. So you have your base dues, and you also have your working dues. And so that is every year. You do it in the spring and the fall. That is your member obligation. It's important to know, especially, that your dues are calculated on your prior calendar year. So you're doing those 2 installments, but you're doing it for the year before. So I always say to people, and it's important to start to think about this in terms of how you're going to manage your professional career, to make sure that if you have a really great year and you have that, huge commercial, or you get cast on that, TV show, you want to be in a position where if that ends, you've already set aside the money for dues sort of as you go, so that you're not surprised in the next year. Because, I hope for you that you have all years full of tons of commercials and series regular jobs on TV shows. But if that doesn't happen, sometimes you want to have planned in advance. And just as a technical detail, it's good to know you can also do your payments by Visa, MasterCard, money order, or check, because a certified check, sorry. People like to know how to do that. So if you're making this decision, you are now joining one of the most important groups in our industry, and it is really the mark of a serious commitment for serious professionals. And so it's a major milestone. It's very exciting, but it's also a responsibility. So we do have some rules that go along with that. Things like Global Rule 1. And Global Rule 1 means that you have made a commitment to only do work that are under a SAG-AFTRA agreement for an employer who has executed that agreement, and that it's worldwide. So you are now making a transition into being a full professional. And that is one of the areas that we get our strength. We hope that you're going to want to be involved in SAG-AFTRA, that you're going to find out more. It's a democracy. We have members that run for the board, for convention delegate, get involved in committees. We want to see you. We want to, as soon as we're able to get back and see each other's faces, we hope that we're going to see you at member events. So it really is, it is run, decisions are made by members, and we have a great professional staff in partnership with us that helps us carry all this out. So these are part of what you can be involved in. You can come in and talk about the contracts that you work and make proposals to make changes in how that has. You may be trying to advocate for tax incentives in your area or digital image rights, and we want you to be involved in the union to better advance those causes. It really does take all of us. And there are just so many great reasons to be SAG-AFTRA that I think hopefully at the end of this, you will be thinking about what to do, how to join, all of that. But, you know, we should also have a little bit of fun while we're at it. We also have our SAG Awards, which is a terrific member benefit that people love, where people are allowed to vote on the recipients of the SAG Awards. I will tell you that having done these meetings over the years in person, I have sat in the room making the same sort of kind of presentation to people who just joined the union. And then I've been doing it just long enough where I've been able to say, oh my gosh, I presented to that SAG Award winner and that SAG Award winner. At the end of the day, it really is a mark of distinction. And it is something that we as a union hope for you. We hope that you fulfill yourself and take that excitement from the awards into other aspects of your career. It really is a wonderful celebration of what members do. There's also a ton of other member benefits of being a SAG-AFTRA member. Things like the SAG-AFTRA Foundation, the Actors Fund, pension and health plans, which you could earn qualifications into, credit unions. That's just a few of those. And so I want to just shift for a minute and talk just a little bit about the SAG-AFTRA Foundation. It is, while separate from the union, just like our health and pension plans are separate organizations from the union, the foundation is a 501c3, which is a nonprofit organization, and it is dedicated to providing both comprehensive, educational, state-of-the-art resources to SAG-AFTRA members. And the SAG-AFTRA believes that it makes real contributions to our cultures by performing art. It's not only valuable, but it's really truly essential. And we've had a chance to see some of that, which I'll tell you about in just a second. And this is where I'm kind of bummed. You don't get to see the videos, but you'll get to go see them online. It is an organization that is there for SAG-AFTRA members in the good times and in the bad times. And our assistance programs are there when things get tough. We have our COVID-19 relief fund for SAG-AFTRA members. I'm personally very so proud of the work that the foundation has done on this. This relief fund, along with the Motion Picture Player Welfare Fund, is for eligible SAG-AFTRA members who have been impacted during the pandemic. And it is an emergency financial crisis relief related to COVID-19 to cover basic expenses like rent, mortgage, utilities, medical bills, other essential needs. So it really is a critical element of what the SAG-AFTRA does. But the SAG-AFTRA Foundation also understands that, you know, as artists, we are living in a changing world, and it's changing all the time. And it's really imperative that actors and broadcasters and voiceover artists, dancers, everybody, people that are doing background work, that we understand the industry evolving around us, what that landscape is, and that we have the tools to navigate those changes, to make sure that the opportunities that we have to hone our craft can continue as our careers continue. And that is something that the SAG-AFTRA Foundation just excels at. We have all these online programs, and many of them you can partake of before you become a member, though you get even more once you are a SAG-AFTRA member. So I urge you to check them out at sagaftra.foundation. That's the website. For those of you, this is definitely for those of you with younger folks at home, or I'll be honest, or for you. We have Storyline Online in a time when everything's swirling around us, and especially when people are trying to educate folks at home. The Foundation's longtime program, Storyline Online, is where actors read to children. It's been Emmy nominated. It is a wonderful program, and this children's literacy program contributes to spreading creative knowledge, and it's really a way for for performers to give back in our communities. And nothing better than being in a movie theater and seeing Chris Pine on the screen, and somebody, you hear somebody in the row behind you going, "Oh my gosh, it's Clark the Shark, it's Clark the Shark," because they've seen him on Storyline Online, so they know him from those stories. And this is a way that we contribute back to the world and to the next generation of people in a love of literacy. So that's about the foundation. At the end of the day, I hope that you know that we are excited about your journey. We want you to have a remarkable life, but we want to make sure that as professional performers, you make us part of your journey, and we can't wait for you to join us. We hope you will take a picture of your SAG-AFTRA card and on our Member Mondays once you receive yours. And before then, we hope you can connect right now to make sure to follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and really stay up to date on all the things that are happening at SAG-AFTRA. You don't have to be a member to start to benefit from being all the things that membership brings. There will be more when you become a member, but we really appreciate that you are here with us today, and we hope that we'll be seeing you in person soon enough.